Today, putting these bad boys on. Aluminum handguards by Moose Racing. I've got these things, and then those right there, just the little handguard protectors that look like the little brush shields, I guess you can call them. What I'm throwing them on is the 2014 CRF450R that I've got right here. I've got a few mods done to it, so if you like what you see, go ahead and check the rest of my channel out. What this thing comes with: 2 aluminum handguards, handlebar mounts, 2 of them obviously. There's all your hardware you're gonna need, and you probably need a razor blade or a box cutter. Alright, so our first step is clutch side. We're just gonna cut out the end of the grip. What you can either use a utility knife, and also I've got a bit. It's called a step drill bit, and you can just basically ram it in there, cut out this. So I'm just gonna use a utility knife and clean it up with that bit if I need to. Bar end cut out. Let's move on to the throttle side. The throttle side is a little bit different. What we need to do is loosen up the assembly here, just enough to loosen it up, and then just pull it off as far as it'll go, probably about 1.5 inches, 2 inches, and then just tighten everything back up. Now we need to either drill out the end of that or cut it out with a utility knife. So the goal here is just to locate the end of the throttle tube. That cleans it up pretty well. If you do have any bad spots on there and you've got a round file laying around, just be sure to, you can use that to round those edges off so we don't have any issues. So there you have it. She's all pretty smooth. I just moved my mounting assembly from my brake down just a little bit. It's not gonna, I don't think it's gonna cause any problems, but with your throttle tube, you want to make sure there's like 1/8 of an inch of bar showing. Okay, now here's the two tests. See that? My throttle doesn't snap back, so we gotta pop things off and remove a little more plastic so that we can make sure that this fits nice and also works properly. So I ground it down just a little bit more, and so this is how it should work once I tighten it back down. Once it's in place down here. So like I said, about 1/8 of an inch need to go. There we go. Snaps back, nothing rubs, life's good. Alright, so while we're over here, we'll go ahead and toss on this handguard. So the mounting hardware included, you've got yourself these guys right here. You got a couple options. You got this, and then you also have a hose and a nut in case you have steel handlebars. You can toss those on. So this is what we got for now. It'll tighten up once we get it in there, but right there you can see Moose Racing. They're both each of these handguards are printed with that on there, so just don't be stupid and put the wrong one on each side. So there you go, mounted up in there. and then 5mm Allen wrench. So now the plan is to toss these brackets on there. This end right there is going to connect to this right here, and you're going to want to use these bolts. Okay, so depending on what you got on your handlebars, if you got this crossbar here, if you got extra switches, this might be a little tricky to mount things up without something getting squished. So all I have is I mean, I've got the crossbar, but I've also got an extra switch. That's plenty ways out of the way. So there's a decent spot right in there, and what you may have to do is just get this everything kind of flush so that you can screw this in, and then kind of work on placement. This thing is 5mm, just like everything else. So this is gonna mount up just like that. These things going from the front, so that's gonna be a pain in the butt. And your goal when you're tightening these up, these little brackets up, is to have the same amount of space or gap between the front and back of the bracket on top there as you do on bottom. So just tighten them down evenly. Once again, just double check, make sure you're not tightening anything down on top of any wires, cables. And once again, make sure the gap on bottom and on top is even. So this is what we got going on right now. Okay, those are mounts. Cables all out of the way. Everything tightened down. Now personally, I like the clean look of those just like that, without any those little brush guards on there. I mean, it doesn't really look too good with the all-white bike, but also I'm just I don't really care for those either way, so it's just an idea of what it might look like if you toss those on. So I'm going to take them off for now and leave it like that. Give you a little walk around. Today, putting these bad boys on. Aluminum Handguards by Moose Racing. I've got these things, and then those right there, just the little handguard protectors that look like the little brush shields, I guess you can call them. What I'm throwing them on is the 2014 CRF450R that I've got right here. I've got a few mods done to it, so you know, if you like what you see, go ahead and check the rest of my channel out. What this thing comes with: 2 aluminum handguards, handlebar mounts, 2